to his beautiful son, Yisrael Yehuda Binyamin Ben David Dabra should have a full and complete for Amen.
Amen. Okay, so we will start. It works.
Right, oh, you're on. It's working.
Definitely. Okay, so let's do it quick. We'll have today a shorter class. And let's say we should be at home with Yuda. But I need to thank Hashem for the successful surgery. We had a kind of a middle worried. Took longer than we thought, and then we didn't understand why. Came out, the doctor tried to reach us, but so there's no reception there. So we had a lot of davening for this time. So better that this worry to be for this and not for a Shalom serious thing. Baruch Hashem. This year will be dedicated for Shleva. So let's see, we're already holding. Last class we gave 4 examples. Just to remind them, my way to help you and everyone to remember, putting the entire story by one word. That's the trick. Then you remember it for easy. Then you don't need papers, don't need to come with anything. It's on your mind. So the first story was terror, right? Terrorist. Stopped someone, stopped Daniel Cohen, and when they rushed him to the hospital, they found out that he has a huge deadliest tumor, and because of this stabbing of the terrorist, they saved his life. So the question in short, is he a terrorist or a hero? That was the first question. The second question was the car, right? The car thief. A car thief in Israel stole a car, but in the middle of the way, he found out that a dying baby that the parents forgot in the car, the parents neglecting the car, the baby was dying. And he rushed him, changed the wheel, changed the direction, went to the hospital, and saved his life. So do we say the fact that he saved his life takes away from what he stole the car, or it's 2 separate things? What he did as a ganev, he stole, he should be punished like a thief. What he did like a hero, he saved his life, he should get a nice, a nice poem from the wife, from the mother. But there's nothing to do. You did a bad thing, you did a good thing, 2 separate things, or no, you saved his life because you stole the car. So one is taking over the other. And the third question was the question of the liquor. Remember? The tavern. When a person broke his friend's bottle of mashke, and came out that a second later, supervisors came from the government, and if they would catch this liquor, the alcohol by him, they'll punish him very, very hard. So he did good to him by breaking it, so he doesn't supposed to pay, or he did bad to him because he destroyed, he damaged. The fact that afterwards something good came, had nothing to do. We came to this, we tried to answer by mono tvira hu tovar. Broken vessel, you broke. Remember the idea of broken vessel? But we will not go through this because it's a parenthesis. So we will go to the 4th story. The 4th story was the story of the fish. A person was going in the water on Shabbos, and he threw his net in order to catch fish on Shabbos, which is prohibited. And when he picked up the net, a mother, out of an anger, threw her baby to the water. So it came out, the net came out fish and a baby. So the question is whether he's chayav or potter. This is where we're holding the 4 stories, few more to come, but before we gave the principles. This is what's important for us to remember. We have the core of the question. This is what we're going to understand, is when your intention was to do bad, to harm. The outcome, the action turned to be good. Which one is stronger? So in order to understand that, we saw that in Torah we have something which is called mezid, shoigeg, oines, misasek, and the question mark. So let's just remember, because this is important. What's mezid? We have the kavana, maise, halacha. So mezid is when a person is doing something avera, but mezid, what do we mean? That his kavanah, his intention was to do avera, right? Plus, the action was also an avera. That's mezid. Equals, what's the halacha then? Shoigeg, what is shoigeg then? His intention was nothing. Right? He didn't mean to make an avera. Plus, but the action was avera. equals what? Potter from punishment, but he's supposed to bring carbon. So it's like potter, but yes, carbon. Why yes, carbon? Because you remember that it's Shabbos, you forgot that you're not allowed to write. Or he forgot that it's Shabbos, but you remember that you're not allowed to write on Shabbos. So you have to remember something. This is why you potter, but you have to bring carbon. Oines, what's oines? When a guy forces you to make an avera, or you go to hospital, you have to do something on Shabbos that you don't want because you are the pikuach nefesh. That's oines. So what's the kavanah? Good. He resists. He doesn't want to make an avera. But lemaisa, what is he doing? Which action is he doing? Maisa of avera. What's the halacha then? Potter completely. Now, misasek, what's misasek? That's many times that happens on Shabbos, and people are mixing between misasek and shoygig. Misasek means when you come to your house, you lean on something, and you turn on the light by a mistake. It's not a mistake. It's misasek. It's why? Because you didn't want, it wasn't on your attention, just you pushed. It's called misasek. So nothing happened. So kavanah was nothing, klum, right? Sorry. Klum. The Maisa was Avera, because you lit the light on Shabbos. Allah Potter. Our 4 cases, the common denominator of our 4 cases is question mark the title because there is no name. The Torah didn't give it a name in one word. You see how nice the Torah defined each one? Amazing, show you this as a holiness. Each one very, but this, our cases, there is no name. What happened by our cases? His intention were bad. He wanted to stab a Jew. He wanted to steal. He wanted to break the liquor. He wanted to do what? To catch fish on Shabbos. The result were good. So the opposite of everything we learned here. So the kavanah was avera. Plus the action was mitzvah. What is the halacha? We don't know yet because the Torah didn't tell us, didn't give us this option. Therefore, we have to say the answer, and afterwards we're going to check the principle, but we need something to wipe it out. Issue even. Okay. Picture it in your mind because that will be the key to answer questions. Thank you very much. Okay. The answer is the principle. Like anything Jewish, this argument, this idea was an argument between two Amorai. How could it not be an argument? Between whom and whom? The master and the student, the Rav and the Talmud. Rabbi, which was the master, the teacher, Rav, which was the Talmud. Interesting that the Gemara, I think, brings first the Rav's idea, the student idea, and then the Rav's, his teacher. Rav says, in such a case, Rav speaks about dogim the tinuk. Remember the story? He catch fish and a baby came with it. Rav said, Rav, comets, easier to remember. Rav said, chayev. Why is it chayev? Because we go bosar kavona. According to Rav, what's the main thing in the solution here? What the person was intended to do. If his intention was to do an avera, came out a mitzvah, not because he wanted, just the Eibishter pushed it into a mitzvah. His kavona and his action, what he wanted in the action was to do a avera. Mainly we go bosar kavona and therefore chayav. Rabbi, though, the master, Rabbi, says potter because we go after the action. Like it says, How about by Chabad? The Rebbe speaks a lot about the Maisa. Maisa, who Hoikir, even though there is no such a saying, because it says Lo Medrash Ikar Ela Maisa, but a Maisa Hoikir, and therefore you can't punish for something which didn't happen. He wanted to smack me up, so it's a punishment for what he wanted to do. You don't do it. So according to Rabbi Potter, because main thing is Maisa, the halacha, the Rambam Paskins, the halacha, Rambam. The Rambam said that even if he didn't know that the baby is falling in water, the Rambam Paskins like Rabbi. Rambam halacha and also Shulchan Aruch. That's the bottom halacha Potter because we follow the Iker Maisa. Now what we have to do, that's very nice, right? We got the principle. We understood what's the core of the question. The opposite of regular, where the kavana is bad, the action came out good. We know that there's an argument between Rabbi and Rabbi. We know the halacha is such a thing we go mainly after the Maisa. So therefore, Potter, but we have to check case by case.
So this case is different than the other three because this case there's no damage.
So we are going now to
Right.
check. Let's see exactly what we're going to do now. The
Also,
cases.
when Rabbi says chayiv, right?
Yeah.
What does he mean chayiv?
Chayiv means part is
That-
chayiv
that
in
he
Shabbos.
Huh?
Chayiv skila.
So
Chayiv
that
skila.
would be chayiv skila? Even though he saved the baby's life,
Yeah,
but he was chayiv for trapping fish.
exactly.
We just had in the Genyuma something that they knew that there was a baby,
Mhm.
and the kavanah was to get the baby and chaparan and get fish. We just learned.
Yeah, but
That's
here
different. That's a
the
different
Rambam
case.
says, the Lamai said that it doesn't make a difference if it knew or didn't know. The Gemara says no. The Gemara says Yoda, Kiven. But the Rambam says Afilu Shelo Yoda. And Allah the Maise doesn't make a difference. Maise, now we have to check case by case. Why? Because always when you have a theory, you just have to see if it falls good with the cases. So let's make again a little chart. First case was Dogim, the Tinoy, because that's the halacha, that's the source, right? So what was the kavone? Aveira, right? Maise. What was the maise?
Save.
Saving. That's all.
That's only,
Yeah. No, we're talking just about this case.
even in this case,
Yeah.
you can't say that he didn't do the avera of the fish.
Right.
So the fact that he saved the child simultaneously doesn't discount the fact that in the same act he was.
He
No,
does
no, no,
this
no,
kind
no,
of
no,
why?
no.
Does this kind of why? Because you're allowed on Shabbos.
Yaakov, we just learned this in Yuma. If you know that there's a baby in the water, you know, and you're going to save the baby, but you're a fisher. You say, you know what? I hope I get fish.
Right, and you can eat the fish.
You're allowed to do it.
Right,
Yeah.
but that's the opposite because you're starting to save the child. You're getting a side benefit of the fish.
You have kavanah to do the fish. It's not a problem.
No, but the
You have kavanah to fish. It's not a problem. That's the case. Not his case. The case that we just.
Because the case has in it together the atzola, it it overtakes. Overtakes.
It defines the mice.
Right, that defines the mice. Even though he didn't have kavanah.
Okay.
Even though the fish,
okay.
he had kavanah, but that defines from.
Okay.
Document it. Now let's see the terrorist. What was the kavanah of the terrorist?
To kill.
To kill, right? Harigo, Retzach. What was his maise?
That's all.
That's all. Very hard to say it, but he started surgery, as I said, in a field condition. He started surgery in field condition. According to this, what should be the halacha regarding specifically to this? Chayiv or Potter? Very hard to say it, but Potter. Potter from what? From direct punishment of Retzicha, right? Potter. However, definitely,
he would be putter from Tzitcha no matter what.
R- even of a Meiser Retzicha, we Potter.
Attempted murder.
Right.
Attempted murder.
However, you'll get punished because he's wild, because he's danger, because he's doing damage.
You're gonna save another Jew by killing him. That's another mice hatzal.
Okay, that's very sharp. Okay, you understand, right? For this specific thing, he will have to get leniency, or that will be erased from the case. Anything else that you did over there, all the trouble, you'll get punished hard. I know it's not
Meaning doctor bills or whatever.
exactly, it's hard to swallow it, but that's the truth.
Well, one
Because,
second, if in the actual case, he stabbed him multiple times.
yeah,
So maybe there were other stab wounds
right.
that.
That's
he
exactly
would
what you
be
said.
chayav on.
He'll get punished because of the other stabbed ones, and because he stabbed other Jews on the way, and because he's a member in terror group. Many things he'll get punished. But for this direct issue, let's say it will be only this, then it will be potter.
But why? He didn't actually save
It's hard to
the
say,
guy.
but
Wait,
take
I
away
think
the
Strachan is
emotions
saying-
of it.
1 second, Shuli is saying something?
Yeah, I'm saying he didn't actually save the guy. He just revealed that there is a tumor there. Like it's like if a guy threw his net into the water and he didn't actually save the baby, but he highlighted that there's a baby in the water and someone else jumped in and saved the baby. Would the guy still be popular?
That you can't compare them exactly.
I didn't say compare exactly.
He just pointed out that by the fish, he saved the child.
Right,
Here, his action revealed. He
Right.
cut out the tumor.
but it's not just revealing. I have to disagree because it's not just revealing. If you will take the report, so the cut that he did was the beginning of the cut that he stayed with the cut to take out the tumor.
You got it, Rabbi Shachar. That's the case. It was
Yeah.
Taka.
Ah, okay.
It's not in the right place. I mean, the first layer, first
So it
issue,
didn't just expose the fact that now they found it.
right,
It actually was the exact stabbing that they
It was the
needed
beginning of surgery.
right,
for the
beginning of surgery.
for the thing.
right. Next case. Tinoi. Kim. Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, but if will be a judge, which is a Shomer Torah mitzvot, which learned a little bit, and he wants to give up saknata out of his
Emotion.
emotions, because you can get very emotional, get carried away here. But you want to see, you keep to the principles. But in any case, I will answer you based on the principle, not on my emotions. At least that will be the only way to solve it. The car. So the car story. The question is, how many intentions and how many actions happen here? Because first, what was his first intention?
Still a
To
car.
steal. What was the first direction where he went to?
Still.
When that changed in the intersection, right? When he figured out that there is a boy, so then he turned the wheel.
So now he had a new kavanah.
So the question is now, okay, it's a different question. Why it's a different question? Because first he had kavanah and action of stealing, and then he had kavanah and action of saving. So the question, do we say the same principle on this matter? What do you say?
No.
Well, but for sure, had he not stolen the car, he wouldn't have found the child.
Right.
The child would have died in the car had he not stolen the car.
Right.
How far back do you go?
What do you mean?
According to this
He got in the
chart,
car
I'm
and he
gonna
found the
say
kid.
Qatar.
Okay.
It's Qatar, it's Hatzala,
Yeah.
it's Aveira.
But the question,
or
how do you define the
the
case?
first part.
Okay, so here's
Well,
something.
it goes back to the question that we discussed last time. Let's say he wasn't trying to steal the car. He just saw a baby trapped in the
Very
car.
good, very good.
and he-
So
and he
I'm
broke the-
not going to make it crazy like in the seminar because with you we have not much time, and it's very nice to see them screaming and arguing and getting lost. I'll tell you. When we say that we follow just the Maisa, we have to take away the kavanah. We don't care about kavanah. So let's say we are sitting in the control room. We see a screen. We don't hear anything. We see parents leaving the car, and a baby is there. You see it from the screen. You could talk because the speaker is down, and you see a person, sophisticated person, going nearby the car. What would you tell him to do?
Go in the car.
window
So since when do you define this as a Maisa Hatzalah?
From the time
Right
when he
From the
broke in.
first, second breaking in the car, it's defined. Why for us it seems no, that first he went that direction. We don't care. Because it seems to us, when I do this, it helps even to the to define it into two stages. But there's no two stages. He thought that there's two stages. The first action of saving a baby in a car is breaking in the car. The fact that he went by the beginning there and then there, we don't care. Lemaisa from the first without
I don't know.
him.
Okay, we can debate this. No, I don't think.
No say.
No.
Rabbi said.
I'll tell you more.
Yeah.
If he would have broken into the car and
Yeah.
taken it to the Arab village,
Yeah.
which is what what he wanted to do, then it would not have been a Maisa Hatzal.
If the baby would die.
If no one would have seen the baby, because he broke into the car and he would have taken the car to the Arab village,
Yeah.
he didn't begin to save the baby because he was on the car. He didn't
Why
even know
not?
the baby was there.
Let's think otherwise. A baby in a car, since his lungs are very, very small, it could last in a car about a 3-month baby. It could last in a car, such a hot car, about maybe half an hour. When he gets 70 or 75,
Okay, you told
70,
us.
I have a question. By him going in the car and putting the air conditioning, he dropped right away.
Okay, say,
He was saved up to the Arab village, definitely due to his action.
okay.
So it's right away, my son. Yeah. Hinek vegano. So Lemaisa, what do we see here? Kavana was, what was the kavana?
Lignite,
Geneva.
Gizela.
Maise, what was his Hatzalah? Hatzalah
Hatzalah.
from the beginning. Therefore, the halacha over here also. Utter
No,
breaking
no,
the sheep,
no, no.
breaking the car.
Utter plus a poem.
No, 1 second.
Yeah.
The Dagim B'chinuch is a question
Anyway,
of,
yeah.
the Tinnig is a question on life.
Yeah.
Chayv skill or not chayv skill? It's like din in moment. You cannot compare.
Why?
Because the halacha is that if I'm nitin, we pass
Mhm.
that I can save my life by breaking. If I have to break through your yard to save my life,
Mhm.
I'm allowed to do it. I have to pay.
It's the reimbursed. The Chachamim said what? That you are allowed to go to someone else's boat and to save someone, even if it costs him money. But then what? Who is chayiv to pay? The person which was nitzal, the person that you saved, he is supposed to pay.
Correct.
So the baby would have to pay the parents.
Exactly.
Go ahead. Uh-huh.
No, it's good to know. Okay.
Okay.
But no money. In other words, the money has to be compensated for.
Right.
Money has to be compensated for. I said correct. Question is who has to
Who has to
compensate?
pay?
But the money has
Yeah,
to.
got it.
Oh, so you're saying the ganef is punted from the money, even though technically because the child should be on the hook for the money.
Someone is on the hook for the money.
Right.
But it's not the god of this.
Not
I
the
see.
money.
Okay.
Mashke, breaking the mashke. Let's see, remember the story of the mashke?
Yeah.
What was his intention? Breaking shvira, hezek. What is the maitze? Hatzalah. What's the deal? We know already. Potter, right? Okay, up to now went smooth. But now let me give you a different story, a new story. You have fire for it?
1 second. On that last case, I thought we learned last time.
Yeah.
There was the case of the arrow.
Yeah. No, so he said it's impossible to compare it to throwing the vessel.
Right.
So that's not a solution.
In that case, everyone had a kavanah to break.
So, but this is a different solution. The Maisa, he did to him Hatzalah, not because he broke something which is worthless, because he helped him, because he saved him a fine, saved him sitting in jail, saved taking away the alcohol anyway. Here's the next story. How much one to fifth story? Happened summer 2006, Second Lebanon War. The north emptied out from the people when the Katyusha fell. We stayed there as shluchim. We didn't run away. We have a video, interesting video, which went down in the world. We in the fire. How much in the shooting back and forth? We happened to be there. Now they found a driver in a kibbutz. Someone Lubavitcher put a mezuzah in a kibbutz, Beit Alpha, which is very lefty kibbutz. And why are you putting it in mezuzah? But listen, 15 years ago, my life was saved due to the Lubavitcher, which came and gave us filling on the tank. And I don't know his name. And he pulled to the shliach the picture of me and my brother and my son standing there on the tank and putting the filling. He said, "Do you know the guy?" And I always remember then such a story with that I couldn't make 1 + 1. Who is that? Now he found the soldier. Unbelievable.
This just happened just now. You found
Just now. A cornet missile hit there. Usually cornet, nothing comes out alive.
a
It's
what?
a cornet missile.
It's a tank.
It's cornet. It's fuel with gas. It's fuel. It's like fuel levels.
Uh-huh.
No way to. So now you have the ruach. So you have something. But then tank after tank, people got the died. Had to scratch their bodies. I don't want to say more than this. Kapon, he's alive and fine. That's the nerve. So what happened? The north emptied out, and one of the late night of the war, a double truck, the semi-trailer, how you call it, double trailer,
Yeah. somebody-
made his way,
Yeah.
double trailer, yeah, and came into an industrial area, which is on the border. Israel built in order to bring people to live on the border. So they made industrial area there. Right near the industrial area, there's a little town for people which are they are mentally not disabled, partially disabled. So they could live at their own when people help them. I don't know how to call it here. So they're in a little village. What?
Assisted living.
Oh, a little bit special. A little bit
So there's a
special.
special village for them. Very interesting. Kishore, that's the name. Middle of the night, this double trailer driver came to the industrial area, and he went to the plastic company. And in the plastic company, they made the heat out of gas because it's cleaner. 2 huge gas tanks. And I'll tell you short the case. He was a mumche, and he pulled gas tank after gas tank on his truck. Very, very expensive. The material, the iron itself and the gas, each one was about $100 and something thousand. He got 2 of them. No one disturbed him because of that night. No one is around.
It was a war.
The war. So, but he had
He did this
agreement.
as a gun.
Yes, the Ghana.
Yeah.
He had agreement with an Arab, and as soon as he left the gate of the company, the Arab was waiting for him with a small little car, and they exchanged. The Arab gave him money, cash 20% of the worth, and he gave him the truck, and they both had to go different directions. At the moment that they put the car into drive gear, they heard the whistle of Katyusha coming, and the Katyusha exploded exactly where a second ago the gas tanks were standing. Huge 2 gas tanks. Next day they found the Jew. They found the Arab first, and he snitched up. They found the Jew with the suitcase with the money.
And
And
you have to right away spend it, right away. That's the thing.
he said that he wanted to defend himself, and they they prosecuted him for looting during a time of a war, which is very hard to be a life sentence. Looting, it's like to do causing chaos
Yeah.
during a time of a war. It's hard.
We don't know about looting. We have
No.
no idea. what that
Okay,
is.
so have Los Angeles, you should remember. Guys, remember Tafshin Undala when they brought the National Guard and they made the curfew.
We had it here last year.
Also, they should, so during the time of a war, so
Yeah.
it's like you're definitely helping the enemy. Yeah. And he said, Your Honor, to the judge, do you know how,
Many lives I saved.
well, do you know how the gas works? The gas comes in a form of liquid, not gas. We call it gas. But you know, to maneuver gas, you have to put it, cooling it off, and then it turns into liquid because otherwise the volume of gas is 2,000, I don't know how much more than liquid. You know what's an explosion? When in a half a second, a split of a second, it changes from the form of solid or liquid into gases. Everything on the way they're being demolished. There's electricity, fire, all the industrial area will be demolished. And you know how many lives will be saved? All these people will be killed. This is what he told the judge. So my question to you, how do we write it here? How do we put it here? So I'll do it short, and it goes like this.
I mean, it's like the
Well, yeah, it's
No,
a-
it's like the
Geneva.
mashke. It's the closest to the mashke because his action was before. He stole it. When he stole it, he didn't save anyone when he stole it. He did not
So it's
save
2
anyone.
separate cases.
He stole
like
it.
the baby.
If it would have been there, then there would have been a next one.
I mean, like the
intention
car.
was bad all
Like
the
the
way
car.
to
The
the end.
intention was bad. The action was what?
You can't say that. You can't
But
say
he
that.
says no.
The action
First
was
he
bad.
stole, and then something happened. Good.
He didn't do anything for the Hatzalah.
Yeah, the result
He was,
He didn't
In other
bring the
words,
baby to the hospital. He
the
didn't take a
Hatzalah
baby
was
out of
almost
the
like,
lake.
like
Just
an
nothing to do with you.
byproduct.
So
Right.
first he stole,
Yeah.
and then that's all that happened. So I'll tell you in short how they bring it in emotional to girls to understand. When you cross the street and a car afterwards went by, do you have to say a goimel?
No.
Because if you'd be standing there, the car would hit you.
No.
Why not? If you'd be standing in the street. So because first you cross the street, and then a car came by, 2 separate things. And therefore, when it comes to this case, we have to understand 2 things. The radius and the time of flying of the missile. Every missile depends on its size, has a different radius of exposure, right? Some are huge, some are small.
Radius of impact.
Radius of impact and time of flying. So how do I do it? I have to erase a little bit.
We have a picture of this?
No.
It's we have a picture from the Zoom.
Oh,
So it goes like this. Here is the gate of the company, okay? That's the gate of the company. Remember, there's double truck. There are two possibilities. Those are two possibilities. You see the difference? The question is, while the Arabs shot the missile, where was the edge? Where was the car? Where was the gas? If he drove slowly outside of the gate, right? And then the missile landed. But they shot it before landing, 45 seconds, a minute, they shot it before. If the car was still in the building, not the building, in the yard, or in the radius, let's put it this way, in the radius of the impact, so that means that he's driving the gas out while there's a problem happened already. He doesn't know, but the missile's on the way. The fact that he doesn't know, we don't care. Missile on the way, he is in the radius of the impact, he just doesn't know, and he's doing an excellent Ma'aseh Hatzolah. He doesn't know, but he
was already out
by an inch
Before the shot.
before you're shooting. So then what happened? Then he's a full, complete ganem. Later
That's like
started
crossing
the
the street.
problem. It's like crossing the street and then a car goes by. You don't want to know the end of the story there? What happened?
yeah.
But they probably know that they can figure out how long it took from the Katusha.
Definitely they could figure
Right.
out.
Yeah, I knew.
Definitely.
So what happened at the end there?
So the judge wanted to know. He was a shomer mitzvahs. He wanted to know because he knew the sugya. And they found out because he took out the gas tanks, so the video cameras were still standing. So they recorded everything, including the falling and exactly what happened.
Got the whole timestamp.
And they saw that it was an inch out of the radius of the
Machaya.
Wow.
But Lamai said, the judge said, for such a good longness, and because the all difference is just an inch,
It's worth it.
without your knowledge, makes all different. Either you're a hero, put your his pictures in the newspapers, or is a complete ganev, a looter during the time of war. Just an inch without his knowledge, and therefore you had a lot of rachmanas over him. But if you go by principles, then you know exactly ikov are clear, very clear cut. So that's which case is that? Number 5, right?
Like the mashka.
Yes, we call it ganov.
But by the mashka,
Because the guy was already on
was
the way.
already on the way, and
Yes.
he knew where the place is. It was snitched on.
Okay, so now not exactly the mashka. By the end it was. So you see the two options. I will write option number 1. Inside the radius is a euro. Hatzolah. Outside of the radius, total ganov. Each of a different. We didn't finish this because we have another case. After all these people, you see that the Torah is very lenient, you say, when it comes to punishment, right? Very lenient.
Aliyah finished.
But there as well, if your kavanah was to arm to make an affair, but it came out good, Torah says that you're potter. So you have Ganav and Gaz, and then we have a case of the Gemara in Kiddushin is saying an interesting statement. Me, a person that wanted to eat chazer, and he bought a package where it says ham, and he opened it up, and he ate it in order because he doesn't care about the Eibishter. And after a while, he figured out that it was kosher beef instead. Mistake, by packing mistake. So he wanted specifically, intentionally, to eat chazer. Misher kiven lechol chaylev also beyond shuman. Same thing, right? You want it chazer? Came out kosher. So the Gemara says, how do you say it?
From Parshas HaShavua, from
Rabbi
Matilde.
Kiva, this week's parsha, no?
Yeah, this is explained. Just
So
as
what's the
Matilde said.
halacha?
Rabbi Kiva says a madach, he started crying. He says madach, someone that intended to eat treif and ate kosher needs to do tshuva. Says kal v'chomer, someone who intended to eat treif and ate treif, you know that, and he started crying. It says
So what's the halacha of Ma'aseh?
you're potter, but you do tshuva.
Kiddushin Peyal, the Gemara says, Potur b'dei Adon,
Hashem yislach lo.
b'dei Adon, Hayov b'dinei Shomayim. So this gives us a new light over all the stories above. Because what do we see? That all up to now we spoke Potter. What's Potter? Beis Din are making you Potter. But the Eberster, you're still Chayev. Dinei Shomayim, God will take care because you had intention to make that Avera. Right? So that changes everything. You know where we see it. It's interesting that no one brought this case. That will be the end. That's number 7, number 6. Number 7, the story of Yosef Atzadik with his brothers. When their father Yaakov passed away, all the brothers were afraid because they wanted to kill him. And they thought the reason why he's not punishing them while he's a vice king, I don't know how to say Mishnah Omela, because their father is alive, Yaakov. But once Yaakov passed away, the brothers were afraid and they sent a message to Yosef, please don't kill us, we are your brothers. Do you remember what Yosef answered them? I'll tell you. Yosef answered them amazing words. Atem chashavtem lero v'ha'elokim letoivo. Exactly the entire class. You thought your intention was bad to kill me. And God turned that into action into saving, because that saved you afterwards. You see, even the Pasuk is using the word of kavanah versus action. Atem chashavtem lero. So Yosef and his brothers.
That's time you get his chafei. That goes on everything.
Right? Atem, chashavtem lero. Your intention was bad. What was the punishment? Nothing. But 1,000 years later,
And you gotta get killed.
oh, sorry, I remember what happened 1,000 years later. The king, what was the name of the king? The Roman king took 10 Jewish sages and he told them, tell me, what's the halacha by you when a brother stealing his brother? So they said, it says in the Torah, you have to kill the Ganem. And someone killed your forefathers. He said, forefathers said, yeah. While they steal their brother Yosef? No, I'm going to do it. A goy is going to do it. And it says exactly in the piyut what we are saying in Yom Kippur, in davening, that was the punishment, mishomayim, for what they have done. Because we just said, if your intention was bad, came out good, you potter bedinei Adam, chayav bedinei shamayim. And that was the Asora, Rugi Malchus, that the Eibishter said is going, and that was the Shmuel, which came above to the Eibishter, and he told him, Nigzer Akzera. So what did
I
he
should
say?
say that's why it was Dafka Rabbi Akiva that was crying.
Why?
Why? Because he knew that as a result of that, he's going to be put to death.
So he knew that there's no chance to go away from it. And that was at them. So we learned here. How many cases?
Yeah.
It was a year.
That's also why he was in the place of the Oiberstein. Because Hashem was the 10th.
So Yosef and his brothers, the punishment was Asara Aruge Malchus. Conclusion, not Kidai to have bad intentions to come out good. Because Taki b'di Odom Potter, but b'dei Shomayim Chayim, like we saw by the Chal and Fleish. And what we see by the brothers of Yosef, the Eberster is very serious about this. He doesn't let it go stamazit. So we should all have good intentions and good actions. That's the best to bring Moshiach Tzidkenu.
You could say it the other way also. You could say, unfortunately, we live in a society where people discount good behavior because of bad intentions. he didn't mean to do a good thing. You know why he did it? He did it because
The machshav hamasoik.
but he did a good thing. So from what you're saying is that if somebody has bad intentions, leave that up to God.
Exactly. Leave
It's
that
up to
God.
us as men, as human beings.
Right.
We should focus on the
The
behavior.
politicians are usually using this law to his intention. He just wanted to do it for
Correct.
God.
Correct.
He just wanted to do it for that
Correct,
reason.
Correct.
But that
But
doesn't
he did
take
something good. He did something good. So he did something good. to
Yaakov, you're
focus on-
saying rephrase the whole thing, right?
I'm
That
saying
the
no,
road to
just
hell
to take
is
away.
paved with bad intentions.
No, I'm saying, but that's God's business.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, correct.
Most
Yeah.
don't care. It's gonna happen in 1,000 years.
So Tachlis, if
Yeah.
I go and I take a swing at you and I try to hit you, but I miss and I come up empty.
Yeah.
So according to what we just learned, certainly I'm putter the Adam, but I had a bad intention, even though nothing
Clearly.
happened.
That's Pashas Matais. You eat,
It
you ate
says-
something, they had Taras Nadar.
If a person picks up his hand, he's already a Russian. But I don't know why no one said. Maybe it's okay in the shul we discussed it. I don't remember Nachum Ish Gamzu, the story of Nachum Ish
We said
Gamzu.
this in the beginning of everything. We said this last week.
Okay,
Yeah,
Nachum-
Every-
Everything is good.
Oh.
remember Nachum Ish Gamzu?
Yeah.
What happened? What was his story?
They got killed. Why did they get killed? Because
So they dig a Novim, which stole the good stones from Nachum Ish Gamzu. They thought they're doing Gneva. Lemaisa they caused that the king would see, but I didn't bring it here. As
a good thing.
I think
I
it's,
told this. I
But at
told
the
you.
end of the day, you get the scarf of that seller, right?
you
Well,
get
they got killed.
No,
The
I'm
end of
saying
the
in all
story
these-
was they got
in all
killed.
these
So that was
cases,
the-
you
Yeah,
get the
yeah,
you
scarf.
get a
Yeah.
little bit schar of the Atzel, but that doesn't take away.
Oh, wait, you don't get the 100% of that seller?
You get a little bit of Atzel schar, but then you get the punishment from the Eberster, not the other.
Uh-huh.
So
But-
that terrorist will get from the Eberster.
Except we don't know what the reward for scar is.
Exactly. Sometimes you're projected. The Eberster helps to see, like Yosef and his brother. We know. Sometimes
But
we know.
they didn't have that seller there. Oh, I guess they had it. So.
Of the 1,000 years they lived.
How do we reconcile this with the concept of, we say machshava teva kadosh baruch hu mitzaref l'maaseh, but machshava ra, if he didn't do anything with pile, he doesn't count it. We say.
No, it's sorrowful. Therefore, the Beis Din doesn't punish you.
Eibusher
That's-
kadosh baruch hu mitzaref l'maaseh says it's l'mayla it's been calculated.
Right. Good question.
But,
Good
not,
question.
but over there, it's not shot that you didn't do it. It just you did it, but you didn't have the good kavanah. So when you finally have kavanah, so the Eibusher retroactively says, now that you have kavanah, I'm going to retroactively limit start your kavanah now to when you did it, without kavanah.
The Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, the Gavaldik word, that there's that the machshava brings the mitzvah up to the higher worlds. So even if we don't do a mitzvah with that type of avanira, but another yid had avanira, so God takes the other person's machshava and He takes my maisa, and it's parach ha'la'el. And machshava ra in Hakadosh Baruch Hu. That's the Alpi Chasidus.
Okay, thank you very
Goya.
much.
Yeah, Rabbi.
Short.
Good.
Right.
So the last three cases that we learned today again were we're going to be
First the Gemara. First the case of the
okay, the
Gemara.
gas, yeah.
Yeah, because the guy we saw the radio